So there's a really alarming trend happening in the 2018 midterms. Anti-hate groups say they're seeing a surge in candidates running on an explicitly white nationalist message.
Make America great again.
It's not because we're racist, it's because we feel marginalized and we're the ones who are being oppressed.
Both of those candidates are running on the Republican ticket, but the Republican National Committee says that America has no place for white supremacy. Hallie.
Yeah, I don't want to repeat what we taught, but I do think this born again thing is it's unfortunate, but I do understand, because really it's the only pillar that the heathen and the non-Adamic races have. I mean, at least that's what they think. It's the only pillar that they have. In truth, if they understood Christ's identity, what the Bible's about, the seed of Adam identity, they would see, taught correctly, which I think Mikael and I add the parts that mostly vow. We add hope for the others as angels, not as begotten royal priesthood, but there's hope for you guys as angels, but you have to be born from above. Your originating source has to be Father God from above in spirit. So not to belabor that, we've been over that before, but there is hope for the others too. But you can't be following the pagan ways. You can't be following these lies of the church. A little leaven, which is a lie of the Pharisees, like born again, like the usual suspects are God's chosen people. These little leavens destroy your soul. They destroy your soul. And, free will is awesome. But if you misuse it, the outcomes are disastrous. Mikael?
Yeah, it is. That was very well said. This born again is the last straw or the last hope that some of the heathen have. They believe you can be born again, but no, it is not said. So yes, that was very well stated. I totally agree. So with this, I would like to jump in for our today's show, what we are going to speak about today. The topics now is from the Roger Hathaway series that Professor pointed out. So we are going to go back, and the topic today that we're going to start up with is who were the lost sheep of Israel? So this is also a very controversial topic for people that believe in born again, that believe in the universalist, that this is for everybody. Well, no, the Bible is exclusive for the Israelite people of the world. And now we're going to dwell on who they were. So, Professor, let's jump in for today's topic. Do you want to add some introduction before we jump on to today's topics?
I'm going to today, I'm going to try something different that we probably should have done on the previous shows. We can always repeat some of this. I'm going to actually read a lot from Hathaway's actual article. So when we get started here, I'm on section 4 of his article. It's called The Primer. It's at israelelect.com. But it's under Divine Pageant, DIVINE PAGEANT. And then you could find that and then look for the article on primer. It's listed on the cover page. I'm going to be reading right from that. I think it'll be better than my own commentary. So, Mikael?
Yeah, that sounds good. Then we can add on our comments to give additional flavor to it. That's good that you have the articles in front of you. So then you can read that, and then I will have the presentation. But for next time, I will make sure to have a printed example of the articles. I also have it in front of me. So. I don't know if you were able to go to a website while you're on here on the show. Not when I'm doing the presentation. I will have the presentation up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we're starting with who were the lost sheep of Israel to whom the apostles went. This is section 4 of the primer of Roger Hathaway's article. The apostles knew exactly where their fellow Israelites were. It's not like they were lost like the world teaches you. From the Assyrian dispersion of 721 BC, the 10 tribes migrated into Greece, Italy, Spain, Britain, and Central Europe. Many crossed the Caucasus Mountains, which explains why Europeans are called Caucasians. The ancient language of Phoenician, which our biblical ancestors spoke, evolved in the Hellenes to become Greek. Now, I'm going to enter a comment here. That's what we've been talking on the sacred name issue. There was really no such thing as Paleo-Hebrew. That's invented. Paleo means ancient. It should be Paleo-Phoenician, as Roger Hathaway correctly has it here. So I'll continue. The ancient language of Phoenician, which our biblical ancestors spoke, very good, Roger, evolved into Hellenes to become Greek. The Welsh language in Britain is still today nearly identical with the ancient Phoenicians. It says, a side note, it was the mixture of Phoenician with Aramaic that became the language of, quote, Hebrew during the captivities of mongrel language that had no prior existence. Perfect, Roger. Without going into a lengthy review of Israel and Judah history, the Judahites of Palestine, open quote, like Paul and James, close quote, knew exactly where their northern kingdom brethren had gone, and they felt a great animosity toward those lost sheep of Israel who had built the Sumerian idols and caused God's great displeasure. These were our people, the lost sheep of Israel, causing God great displeasure. Paul, as a Judean of the southern kingdom of Judah, not to be confused with the word Jew, Judah and Jew are not synonyms. Paul, being a Judean of the southern kingdom of Judah, being a Benjamite, had real difficulty forgiving northern Israelites. Israelites are not Jews. These are bloodlines of Jacob, Isaac. Paul had a real difficulty forgiving northern Israelites for their apostasy. And like Jonah's feelings, he did not want to go to them with Jesus' forgiveness. He was filled with bitterness about this, but finally accepted it, and in his letter to the Romans made the statement that the Greeks, open quote, which in open parentheses, which included the white race Romans, the Greeks, which included the white race Romans, close parentheses, and Judahites were the same family, not Jews. Of course they were. Both the southern and northern kingdoms were descendants of Jacob Israel. So we'll stop there and we'll open it up to your commentary, and then we'll continue.
Yeah, so this that we said, this the Phoenicians and also the Aramaic, and the Aramaic is also a language that is still, and we know that the listeners know that it's a language that is still spoken today, still exists. There's people are still speaking Aramaic, but the one that's speaking it today, they are not the same people that migrated away, because our people migrated away. That is why, as Hathaway here so elegantly points out, that's why we are called the Caucasian people. And this is also something that our people, why they want, because here in Europe, this Caucasian, to call the white people Caucasian, that is, at least here in Sweden, that is very rare. So I don't know why, but when you do, I don't know. So when you use it, then people maybe I should do that more often and call him Caucasian. Ask him, why do you think you call Caucasian? Not because of, it is not just a coincidence. It is because we came across the Caucasus Mountain. And I also find it this, that the Benjaminite Paul is saying here in the text that I guess didn't the Judites was believing they didn't really like the northern tribes that were cast away, because they thought they were the only one that were still they were the only one that Jesus Christ has his chosen children. And this also I find this very confusing when I listen to some people, is that they won't accept this, that the word Jew was added in the text. They believe that they are both an Israelite and a Jew. How can they be? They can't be. That's an added name. Yes, they are for sure Israelites, but they're not Jewish. That is not the same thing. That's an added word that has been added by the translator. And over to you for comments.
Yeah, this is a form of mind control and the stupidity virus. People are actually under mind control, and they've reached a new low level of stupid. And this, you can see it all around. You see it in the flat earth community. I mean, these people have reached a super low level of stupidity. That's a supernatural virus. It's a stupid virus. And this also applies to people in the church systems today, Christians that are following doctrines of demons and Jewish fables and have no interest in real truth. The other thing to point out here is, you mentioned, why did the southern kingdom of Judah have bitterness against the northern kingdom of Israel and the dispersed tribes of Israel? Well, it's no different than denominations today. The Baptist, the Catholic, the Lutheran, whatever it is, they're all split and divided, and they all point at the others as being wrong. It's no different than, and that's a form of pride and lacking the love of the truth, because truth is universal and foundational and a baseline. Truth is a baseline, foundational baseline. And when you deviate from truth, you have divisions. You have the Baptists and the Lutherans and the Protestants. Those are people that have deviated from truth, because there's only one truth, Christ's identity. And if you're not teaching it, you're in division. So that's why the southern tribe of Judah was in bitterness here, because it's pride, and it's not loving truth. They loved pride. Can I start continuing then, Mikael?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're still continuing in paragraph 4. Who were the lost sheep of Israel to whom the apostles went? And one comment is this interesting. When you look also in our history, that many people believe that our society, it all came from Greek, that, there we have all the wisdom. But that is from, that is, I guess, we are looking at history then at a Greek perspective. We doesn't realize that, but where did they emanate from? Where did this wisdom come from? It was because of this was here, as Hathaway so pointed out, that this is a place where the dispersed tribes went. And also, as it's also said in Roger's article, that Paul did know where the lost sheep of Israel had went. Sorry for interrupting. Over to you. Yeah, good point there, Mikael. He certainly did know. Everybody knows, except today's wide gate theology, dispensational, universalist, Judeo-Christianity that are headed to hell. Everybody knows except Christians today, which are Christendom. Stupid virus. So continuing on the theme of who were the lost sheep of Israel and to whom the apostles were sent. They were only sent to the lost sheep of Israel. So who were these people? Paragraph 2 says, when Jesus, his disciples, and Bible authors spoke of their own people of Judah and Israel. Remember, Judah is a southern tribe and Israel is the 10 northern tribes. Judah had Judah and Benjamin and a little bit of Levitical priesthood. Israel had the other 10 tribes and a little bit of, actually, even the northern tribe had a little bit of Judah and a little bit of Benjamin. They were all mixed in there, but generally when they say Judah and Israel, that's the southern tribe of Judah and the northern tribes of Israel. So when Jesus, his disciples, and Bible authors spoke of their own people of Judah and their own people of Israel, not a place, a race, they often used the Greek word ethnos, which is a root for our word ethnic. Jesus and his friends used the word frequently when referring to their own ethnic group or race of Israelites. When the King James Bible was translated, the word ethnos was translated into the English word Gentile, or gentile, which came from the Latin gens and from the Greek genos. You hear gene in there, genetics, both of which mean race. Thank you, Roger. Perfect. So, both of which mean race. Gentile meant gentile. In the King James English, an elite race. Not like you're being taught everybody except the Jews. No. Gentile means an elite single race of Adam. So to Jesus' disciples, ethnos meant race in the context of our own ethnic group or race of Adam. During the past couple centuries, with the missionary fervor of Christianity, the word Gentile has gotten twisted to mean non-Jew. How this could happen leaves a linguist scratching his head. Ethnos never meant anything like non-Jew. Today, every Bible reader understands Gentile to mean non-Jew. How did this happen? This confuses the gospel of Jesus' message and the message so terribly that no one can explain the gospel anymore. In spite of Jesus' clear statements to the contrary, the church pushes contentedly forward with its evangelism to change innocent races with guilt for breaking a contract to which they were not party to. It's no wonder Christians are so confused. Mikael?
Yeah, there we have the other, confusion, or the other big controversy, this with the Gentile, what the Gentile means, because as Roger here also points out, it is not being non-Jewish. So that's very good. We have one or more of those controversies that he puts up here and say that no. So, yeah, over to you.
So Jesus said he only came to the lost sheep of Israel. So continuing to answer the question, who are the lost sheep of Israel to whom Jesus came? It is the European Caucasian race. Besides all the ancient historical records of the dispersion and migration into Europe, including Homer and Virgil, who speak mainly of the line of Zerah Judah into Greece and Britain, and besides the linguistic witness, and besides the ancient British historians like the Venerable Betty and Geoffrey of Monmouth, who tell the story, the most conspicuous evidence is the European flags. And I know, Mikael, you can speak on that here in a minute. Yes, the very flags which still fly over the nations of Europe proclaim to the world that they are the tribes of Israel, and they know who they are. By flag, I loosely include their official banners, emblems, and insignia. The Lion of Judah represents England and the sovereign who sits on the throne of David there, which Jeremiah brought to Ulster about 580 BC. In Westminster Abbey hangs a genealogy chart which shows Queen Elizabeth's family tree back to King David. I want to talk about this in a minute. The Lion of Judah is also used by Germany. Indeed, that's where my bloodline is from. Saxon Germany, the Lion of Judah. The ship of Zebulun is a symbol used by Holland, Scotland, Denmark, Netherlands, and England. And I think Sweden too, right, Mikael?
The Zebulun emblem.
Yeah, is that also Sweden a little bit?
No, what I realize when I read Roger Hathaway's views on where the tribes went. He differs a bit what my research I point out, but that doesn't make. I just see that there is some difference. For example, as I said, yeah, it is very true that England and all the European nations have the Lion of Judah everywhere. Well, it doesn't just say that they're all from Judah, but the royal emblem as that you see in all the royalties of Europe, they have the lions. They have the Lion of Judah because they did know that they came from this royal priesthood. They came from. That's why also, if you listen to some of this, I don't want to use the word conspiracy talk people, when they say that, well, all the kings of Europe they were of the same. They were cousins to each other. Well, that is true because all of them were Germans. All of them came from Judah, and that is also fulfills one of the prophecies that the scepter will not depart from Judah. It will always be Judahite on some of the thrones a pure Judite will be on the throne. That is example. You can also see, I believe, some of the colors could be associated with because you had two sons from Judah. You had Phares and Sarah Judah. And Sarah Judah was the one that left. He left the Middle East, and they migrated upward, and they created the Roman Empire. And one color, what I understood, that follows with Sarah Judah is the red color. This wasn't that something that they put on his hand. When he was sticking out his hand from his mother's womb, then they put a red scarf around it, and then he was the firstborn and got this red around his arm, if I'm not totally wrong here. And then Phares Judah is associated with the color yellow. So that's why, as we see in my presentation, the Swedish flag is yellow and blue. So that's why yellow comes from Phares. And Phares was the one that was still in Judea. He was leaving lost. Sarah left before Phares Judah. I don't know if that makes sense with all this, but that's over to you, Professor.
Yeah, I was studying that just yesterday on one of Pastor Eli's teaching on Phares and Judah. That is correct. The children of, I guess it was it who had relations with their daughter Tamar? Was that Joseph?
No.
It was.
I don't remember now. This
Jacob, maybe. But anyway, we'll get back to you on that. I think Jacob had relations with Tamar, his daughter, and then they produced. Let me see, Isaac, Jacob, and the 12 tribes. It might have been actually one of the. It's either Jacob or Joseph. No, it's Judah.
Yeah, that was because Judah did mingle with some non-Israelite, and those people, they were very wicked children. But I guess. Yeah,
so it was Judah, the son of Jacob, who ended up having a relationship with his own daughter because she posed as a harlot for righteous reasons, and she bore Phares and Judah. Phares and Zerah and Phares. And Mikael talked about how they tied a scarlet thread around one of the children who poked his hand out first, but then the other one actually got born first. So that's another story. We're going to post that for you guys. But back to this. So the point of who are the lost tribes of Israel and the sheep of Israel, and where did the apostles go? We're going through to show you that but we're being woken up. That, as prophecy says, we're starting to know who we are. This says, to continue, the man of Reuben is used by Greece, Iceland, and Denmark. The bull of Ephraim is used by Britain and most Scandinavian countries. The eagle of Dan is used by Germany and the United States. The olive branch and 13 arrows of Manasseh are used prominently by the United States and also somewhat by England, Scotland, the Netherlands, and Holland, and others, as Mikael said. Jesus wouldn't have any trouble identifying his lost sheep of the house of Israel, for they still display their ancient tribal symbols. It is only modern theologians who ignore all the evidence in order to maintain their religious orders in which they have vested interest, who close their eyes to the truth and serve Mammon, the god of this world. Mikael?
Yeah, and this with Ephraim and Manasseh, isn't that Ephraim is, I guess that was...
now that is Joseph's sons.
Yeah, that is both Joseph's sons. And you can see this when he crossed his arms, when he blessed the children. And isn't that also seen on your your flags, the southern states, the Union flag, and also Scotland's flag? You see this crossing of the arms on the flags.
That's right. The Union of Jacob flag, which we're told is a hate crime, but that's because, remember, the world takes everything holy, turns it upside down, and defiles it. So the Union of Jacob flag, which founded the 13 Bible Belt colonies of the United States, Amyrak's Kingdom of My People, the Union of Jacob flag with 13 stars for the 13 Bible colonies of the United States, has its arms crossed, representing how actually Isaac blessed the sons of Jacob, Ephraim and Manasseh, and he crossed his arms. So very well stated to point that out, Mikael.
Yeah, and then also that I guess Ephraim is then England, and then Manasseh is America. Because Joseph was he was the one that got the blessings, and we see that with the English speaking people, that the Americans and the English, and that's the most prosperous and they're the most numerous among the Israelite nations.
Yeah, but certainly Ephraim and Manasseh, England and United States. But in addition, the United States, as we've been over before, fulfills the 7x7 prophecy of Leviticus to the day, July 4th, 1776. So all 12 tribe bloodlines have actually congregated now into the United States at this point. And United States is the New Testament, New Jerusalem, soon to be translated into the heavenly New Jerusalem. But in the Old Testament, the contract of bondage with Lucifer primarily, with Father God sending in his angels and himself as necessary on rescue missions and sending his prophets to proclaim. But primarily the Old Contract Testament was a testament of bondage with the God of that world, Yahweh or Lucifer. And under that, Israel was a location. It turned out to be the 10 northern tribes were called the tribe of Israel, but it actually was a nation back then. That when King David ruled, it was a location, which has today been defiled, of course, and called by the same name, to impersonate the once holy kingdom of King David and Solomon, which was the nation of true biblical Israel, as a place that comprised of the race of Israel. That has been defiled and impersonated, counterfeited today with a place in the Middle East. Again, this is a spiritual show. So I'm not coming against the place in the Middle East politically. I'm not going to state any opinions, because there's good, bad, and ugly in all places. The United States has good, bad, and ugly as far as a political perspective and a secular perspective, which we don't talk to. But from a spiritual perspective, the kingdom of King David and Solomon, the holy nation of Israel, and the holy bloodline of Israel, or Adam, has been counterfeited with a impersonating place in the Middle East that takes the same name and claims the same claims, but is not. It's those people that are not, that Revelation 2:9 and 3:9 talk about. The people that claim to be somebody, they claim to be of Judah, but they're not. So, Mikael?
Yeah. And I just want to make the crossing of the arms, it must have been Jacob Israel that did that. So just want to point that out, something that come to my mind. And this is we spoke about spiritual. This is because we should not entangle secular stuff. We should not entangle in this world, because we should focus fully on the scriptures. That's what we are doing here. That is what drives me. That's what gives me, say, I feel this little heat in my heart when I do this. I get very warm by doing it. This is a testimony for me to know that Jesus Christ is with us and guiding us in this. So that is why we're doing this and why we have so much scriptures in it. And that is also something that we know, that as the more scripture we have, the more people likes it. And that, of course, because that is water for the souls. How would you?
Yeah, I'm excited that there's a flock out there that likes these shows, because it's not about me or Mikael. It's about the word and getting back to the truth of the Bible that's lost. There's a famine in the land, in the world, for the true word of God. It's not in your churches. It's not in almost anybody, because there's leaven and everything. So we're just honored that Father God, Jesus, will continue to use us until the game's over. I was talking to Ariana this morning about, running the race and staying in the race. It's kind of like, spiritual boot camp is like going through a school system. God is training his begotten, and he's training the angels too, slightly for different purposes. But nevertheless, it's like going into preschool, then kindergarten, then high school. Not everybody makes it out of high school. Then you go into college. Fewer make it out of college. But then you go, as we get toward the end times, as Paul said, run the race. Many are falling out of the race. They either fell out at high school, they fell out because they didn't adhere to the truths of God and they loved the world, or they fell out in graduate schools. But when you get to the master's and PhD programs, those are the ones. Now, again, I want to be careful because I know today's the analogy is the school system, but I want to make it clear. I'm not suggesting that today's educational system is to be exalted in a positive way in any way, because it is another institution of the spirit of the air. To get a PhD today, you have to be indoctrinated. You have to stay in the box. You have to conform to the religious priesthood or the educational priesthood. So I'm just using the example because that's the defiled part, the educational system. The holy part is God's educational system, which goes through the same process. And only here at the end, a remnant will still be in the race, still be qualified to gain additional gifts of wisdom and a higher position in the kingdom to administer the kingdom on Jesus' behalf and administer over the angels. That's part of how we will judge the angels. We will administer over them as well as to judge them to determine, we will, the Elohim, the remnant, the royal priesthood, the Caucasian Adamite species, bloodline, race of Adam. We will be the administrators of divine law, not the counterfeit, defiled law of Moses, but divine law of Jesus Christ. That divine law is what we will be judging the angels with as the administrators. Some of us will actually be judging them if they even enter into the kingdom. And I know there's CI teachers out there that will shudder. Let me clarify. There's outer court, inner court, and holy of holies. In the outer court, there'll be many angels that down here right now are in different skin colors and different forms. They're angels. And you only know by the blood, and you can't go by outward appearance. If they have the blood of Adam through a paternal lineage, you could be a black person, a Chinese person, or a mix. As long as you got the blood of Adam in there, you can host an angel. You can't host a royal priesthood or a begotten or a seed of Adam. You can't host that, but you can host an angel. And those angels can go back to where they were before the rebellion, which is in the outer court, the heavens. Now, they can't go to the inner court or the Holy of Holies. That will only be for the begotten. So I got off a little bit on that because people are interested, but I always like to give hope to the others because there is hope for the others. So, Mikael, anything else? And then we'll start on paragraph 5.
No, I would say that this one that we spoke about this with them, we were on the flags and that is also about the points that we have in the presentation that say like this: the so-called lost tribes of Israel were never really lost. No, they weren't. They just lost their identity, as it is today. It's a famine of the truth in the land, so they lost who they are, but they were never lost. But we're divorced from God, after which they migrated to Europe, where they still fly the flags, testifying to their Israelite identity. And that was what we spoke about, the flags. They testify about this. Like the Nordic nations flags, we look on them. All of them is representing the cross. When you're pointing it in the direction as I show now in the presentation, there's representation to the cross. And they all were very vehemently, they were very... losing my words now. But we also have what I try to research is that Benjamin, the little Benjaminites, the one that with Judah, the southern tribe, their land today, I believe, is in Iceland. And look at little Iceland, what they have done. Well, they have thrown out the bankers. and look at their, the immigration, well, they have none. So they are really this shining light, the rightness of my, now I forgot what is mean exactly, the rightness of my people's hands. I forgot the slogans for Benjamin, but they really show that by being a light bearer. Yeah, light bearer, that. They are the light bearers of the other Israelite tribes. Look at Iceland. They are truly the one to look up toward, because they are truly the light bearer of the Israelite tribes. Over to you.
Yeah, indeed. Like the point being that Mikael is continuing to emphasize is we know where the lost tribes are. They're not lost. They're not lost to ourselves. Now, I will say this, that 9 stones for the angels and 0 wisdom stones for the natural man and woman. You guys just won't never understand. I mean, remember my little chart I put up? For those who understand, no explanation is necessary. Our own bloodline understand this when they're not following sin, like sacred name sin that blinds them. If they're not involved with sin, unrepentant sin, our bloodlines understand this. No explanation is necessary for those who understand. No explanation is possible for those who don't understand or were never predestined to be in this category of wisdom. And this gets back to one of the teachings we went on, tree of life, tree of knowledge. Tree of life is a race of Adam. Tree of knowledge is a race of Lucifer, okay? Race of Jesus through Adam, race of Lucifer through Cain. Tree of life, tree of knowledge. That's what that's all about. So the seed of Satan, Satan's children, they will never understand the deeper things, and they will have an aversion. You know, they'll be hostile. They have a different spirit. So, continuing, now we're on Roger Hathaway's section 4, section 5 of the primer. What is the Bible's dominant theme?
So there's a really alarming trend happening in the 2018 midterms. Anti-hate groups say they're seeing a surge in candidates running on an explicitly white nationalist message.
Make America great again.
It's not because we're racist, it's because we feel marginalized and we're the ones who are being oppressed.
Both of those candidates are running on the Republican ticket, but the Republican National Committee says that America has no place for white supremacy. Hallie.